I have here a little spiky ball. If you don't have one of these, then a tennis ball, golf ball. Golf training balls are really good. Hockey balls, lacrosse balls, a ball is absolutely fine. The advantage of these is they're spiky, so they affect the nervous system in the skin slightly different, and they can feel nicer. They're slightly soft, so they're not as hard, but you just work with where you feel is good for you. Okay, so I'm going to use the ball and I'm going to show you how to release off around here, around the torso, so the diaphragm, the obliques, okay, and some little tricks to get into the back, into the QL, the SI joints, and then up into the shoulders as well, okay? Just because they're delicate areas, and when you're sitting loads or you're standing loads, you're carrying children and things, they can be quite sore areas, so it's always handy to know what to do with them. So we'll start with the ribs first. So you need to find where the ribs are, okay? And that's different for everybody. I've got quite a long rib cage but a short body, so my ribs come right the way down towards my hips, and they're right the way up here, okay? So that's the line of my rib there, okay? So that tells me where I need to work through the diaphragm. Now we get the ball, and to start with, we're just going to follow that line of the rib. I'm demonstrating this in sitting. You can do this in standing, and you can also do this laying down as well if that's more comfortable. Okay, so just work wherever your body feels relaxed and comfortable, that you're not holding too much tension, okay, and wherever obviously is pain-free. So we work just in circles up and around the rib cage, okay, and we just follow that rib maybe 3 or 4 times and then change sides, okay, and keep long. We really want to open up these areas here, so we don't want to be doing them in this squished position as long as you possibly can, okay. Now if you feel a point that feels quite tender, so if I come to here, that's quite a tender spot for me, we can add a little bit more pressure. We can do smaller circles. You can apply gentle pressure, but we're only looking at about a pain scale of 3 or 4, okay, not too much. It shouldn't be ouch, it certainly shouldn't make you cry. And then we can add some breath, so we can breathe in and breathe out, really directing it towards that sore spot, and that can help just to loosen and lengthen the muscles, okay. And then we can take it up along the ribs themselves. Again, remember these are bones that we're coming across, so it can be quite tender. Don't push too hard. And again, we can do the same thing. So we can hold, we can add some gentle pulsing backwards and forwards, we can come up and down, we can add all that lovely breath work. Okay, then we do the same on the other side. We come across, along through the ribs, find any tender spots, work through them. If there's no tender spots, just enjoy the feeling of release that we can get just by using the ball, okay. We can then come through to the waist and then working into here, which again, if you find the top of your pelvis, okay, or the top of your hips, you should be able to feel it travel all the way around. So there's my pelvis, there's my ribs, okay, so I'm going to be working in that space. Yours might be a little bit bigger. Okay, now I would suggest just a tiny lean forwards just to open up, so again you don't feel like you're squishing. And again, we can just apply that pressure, working on the top of the bone, okay, so into the squishy area, and follow it round as much as your arm flexibility allows. And the same thing, if you find an area that feels a little bit sore, a bit stiff, we can add some circles, we can add some focused breath work, then we can take it up into the side through here, and we can come around. Okay, so we do the same with the other side. So I'll come onto this side, so nice and even. We can then apply the body to it, okay. Now this works better if you've got a bigger and a harder ball, but if you're quite tender in this area, then a softer squishy ball might work as well. It's a little bit of trial and error. Okay, so we would take it back into that squishy part. Okay, and then we just lie on the ball and thinking about letting gravity sink your body down and into the ball. Okay, and again we can add some movement. We can shift the ball. Okay, so we can move it up or down. We can move the hips back. We can come forwards and we can come back. Okay, they can all be really nice places or not so nice places to target. And then from here we can turn onto the back and we can work through the back. Okay, just avoiding any bones. Okay, so don't roll onto your spine, particularly with the harder balls. And again, you can move through the legs. You can either move the legs side to side or you can shift side to side. Think about just letting your body lengthen and sit onto that ball. Okay, and then we can take it up through the rest of the body. And so we can bring it all the way up and onto the shoulders as well. Okay, now you may feel that your head's hanging, so what I would do is just grab a ball or a cushion that you can pop behind the head. Okay, and then if you just move the arm into different positions, you should find that there are certain spots that feel a little bit more tender than others. Okay, so again we can hold here, we can breathe. The other thing you can do is, if you've got blocks, is to let the arm rest on a block or some books. If you have somebody with you, you can get a partner to just move the arm until you find that spot. Okay, and then we can hold at that breath, we can give it a wiggle. Remember, not working on the actual spine itself, coming off the spine. Okay, and then through the other side. Can we find those tender spots? Okay, and either you can move or you can wiggle your shoulder around. Okay, take it across, take it out to the side, bring it over the head, bring it back. You could draw circles. Okay, doesn't matter, just nice and gentle. Remember, you're not looking for outs, you're just looking for ooh. You can do this as well against a wall. Okay, so if you're working with spots that feel particularly tight, grab a pair of tights or a long sock, pop the ball in the sock so that you can take it over the shoulder, and then you can do the same thing so it's not rolling around all over the place. Okay, and we can very gently use the hand and come through the neck. Okay, and I wouldn't do this hard. Remember, we've got lots of lymphatic drainage points through here. We've got a nice big artery, so we don't want to be pressing on those, but we can add just a gentle roll on the ball as well. Okay, and you could, if you want to, you could do some forearm work, forehead work. If you've got the spiky ones, you could bring it onto your head, you know, just thinking outside the box there. Okay, so if you're finding you're going through a bit of an acute stage of just feeling generally uncomfortable through the back, through the hips, try getting on to one of these and seeing if that will help really soft for you.